TUC, today we are with Klyde Ross Naidoo. Now, you may ask yourself, who is this gentleman? But this is the man who is the first South African Indian fighter pilot.
You know what? As to say the first South African Indian fighter pilot, I never thought about it that way. Actually, I was just like striving to be the fighter pilot, not worrying about who I am or where I came from. But then, after the fact, when it happened, is when a lot of people brought this thing to my attention. Like, you know what? This is congratulations on achieving this. You've made your hometown proud, right? Then it was actually overwhelming, the amount of messages and the call ups and things like that you get from it. So it's exciting. It's nice to know that anybody can do it.
What are your responsibilities, and what scenarios will you be faced with on a daily basis as a fighter pilot?
So with the South African Air Force, as you know, we're not at war, right? So what our main role is day to day is we're actually a deterrent. So it's like if you have a dog in your yard, it doesn't mean that every day you're going to get robbed. But the day that somebody does decide that he does want to rob you, he has to contend with your dogs first. So it's the same with us. We train every day. We train in air warfare, in surface warfare. We train tactically. So it's still South Africa is still relevant in the air warfare domain today. So on a day-to-day basis, we do actually prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
We watched your maiden flights and we saw your wife in that video. She looked very emotional.
Don't cry.
What was the conversation before and after your solo flight?
So well, before it was actually quite short. So it was during a week of night flying at the squadron. So we got to a late start at work, got in around 12 or so. So before I left for work, it was I was quite quiet, if you can put it that way. And then she just asked before I left the door, like, "Are you ready for this?" I was like, "I think so. We'll go and find out, won't we?" Yeah, that's what happened before. So afterwards, I think when I taxied back into the revetment and jumped out the aircraft, I could see the excitement on her face, and when I opened the canopy, she was like the first or the second one to run up to me. First, of course, being the ground crew to take off my helmet and put on the step ladder and things like that. You can see the excitement in her eyes. She's actually quite proud of even if she doesn't tell me, she's proud of what I've just done.
All right, cool. Okay, we have heard that this has always been your dream. Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood?
So with regard to it have always been my dream. I never knew it was possible from a young age. So I always wanted to be a pilot, yes, but it's only later in life that I found out that we could actually do this, like we being the Indian community. So like my childhood, we moved around a lot and things like that. I was always uncertain of what I would be able to do when I grow up and things like that. Applying for a lot of bursaries and like looking for something that I would be interested in, knowing that piloting is like a far-fetched dream. You can't really do that. You can go and study, become an engineer, become a doctor or lawyer or whatever it may be. But piloting is like, it's few and far in between that actually go and pursue this career. When I saw the opportunity of the Air Force and they did finally accept me, I was overjoyed. I was really excited to be allowed this opportunity to be a fighter pilot for South Africa. That is, yeah.
Operated by 85 Combat Flying School, also from Air Force Base, Makata. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations.
I don't know if you've ever gone to a flying school, like a civilian flying school, and asked them how much it costs to actually get your private pilot license or things like that. It's pretty expensive. Not many people can afford to go down that route. So everybody's deterred by the monetary factor in that. So the Air Force, it's basically like a bursary. You come to the Air Force, they pay for your training, they pay for your accommodation, they pay for your food, they pay for everything, and they give you a proper education. Like flying training in the Air Force is amongst still the best in the world.
You grew up in Reservoir Hills. What are some of your favorite places in your hometown?
Well, that's a hard one to answer because I can't really tell you that I liked sitting at Nola Terrace Circle or sitting outside Mizra's. So having a pizza at Rajput's, I don't know what to tell you about that, man. Like usually that's where we would be.
What are your fondest memories of Reservoir Hills? Like the things that stick out in your mind as soon as you speak about Reservoir Hills?
Well, actually my favorite thing about that place was the rivalry between the schools. I went to Reservoir Secondary School. That was top school, and then there was Eddie Lazarus bottom school there by behind the new Checkers Mall. So it was always fights between the schools, and we would it would be crazy. Like who would go where? Like was ADL going to come up to jump us outside our school up here, or are we going down to get them? That's actually my fondest memory of Reservoir Hills.
All right, okay. Any last words for the kids out there that see you and want to become a pilot or achieve their dreams? What's your advice to them?
Well, you know what? Do good in school. Like while we're in school, we think, what are we going to use this Pythagoras for, right? Although you might not need it, the results from school is what gets you into the Air Force ultimately. So if you do well in school, it's gonna open a lot more doors for you in your future. Whether you do want to join the Air Force for piloting, remember, you can also join the Air Force to become an engineer. You can go to the South African Military Health Service for doctoring. You can do whatever you want. It's just up to yourself to make it happen. There's not much more to do than hard work.
So what do you have to tell Indian mothers and fathers out there? Because especially Indian mothers, especially when it comes to sons, this is considered one of the fields like, oh, hey, dangerous, that is dangerous. Mustn't go do that. You know, what do you have to tell them?
You know what? So with my mom particularly, right? So halfway through my basic military training in 2011. So basic military training is like, I think the thing that makes you a soldier. It takes your civilian out of you and makes you a soldier. Halfway through it, they have a family day. On the family day, your parents come up to Hoedspruit or wherever your training takes place. And then they see you for the first time after 3 months of being in the military. My mom wanted to take me home, so I had a shaven head. I was super dark. I was super skinny, which I didn't leave like that. So she's like, "No, Klyde, you're not doing this anymore. You're gonna come home with me now." So to parents out there, let them carry on. I am quite healthy now, so it's worth the wait. I used to have to lie to my grandmother about what I'm going to do in the Air Force. She's like, "Why is that plane only have one seat? Where's all the passengers gonna go?" I was like, "No, we train on this one-seat aircraft, and then I fly the passengers later." So don't let them give up, man. Like let your child go through this. There were a lot of actually Indian people on my basics with me that after that family day, the numbers halved. So stick through it. Stick through it.
So parents do make a big difference in there. What's your advice to parents? Because now that we know for sure that those numbers cut in half, especially for Indian people. Because I mean, you should have been one of maybe 10 or 12, but now you're only one of one.
Yeah, one of one, man. One of one. So the parents need to let go a bit. Like my dad has to keep telling my mom to relax. He's got it. If something was wrong, he would tell us. So he would take himself out of this. But if I'm still willing to do it, don't let somebody else take me out.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for that advice. Thank you so much for your time, Klyde Ross Naidoo, and you're making us proud as the Indian community. A lot of people are going to send you a lot of things, maybe some hampers. You'll get some stuff there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You do you know my address? Like it's quite far.
Thank you so much. What a cool guy, Klyde Ross Naidoo. Thank you so much for your time.
Cheers, man.